Hey.
Ah, fuck, you're in a tank top too. I gotta go put my jacket on.
Yeah, I literally just got off Beatty's podcast like 30 minutes ago. I had time to eat real quick, and now here I am in
Oh,
my
you
tank
good?
top. Yes,
Nice.
sir. I'm good to go
Dude,
now.
dude, I had a podcast scheduled before you too with Nick Jackson, 212 Pro. I like a lot, but his wife had like a bad accident right before we got on. His daughter dropped something and his wife like cut her arm open. He had to go to ER. She had to get stitches, internal and external. His little daughter's freaking out. I was like, oh shit, man. Well,
Wait, as you were on the podcast?
no, like right before he hit me up like 30 minutes before. I was like, dude, I gotta go to the ER. So this is what you're in for
Oh,
with children now.
shit. Fuck. You know what's crazy is I was thinking about that shit last night. You know, when you're in bed, you start thinking about shit you shouldn't be thinking about. I was like, man, it's exciting as hell, but you start to like, man, I really got to worry about this now and this, and like you start looking at sharp corners and shit around the house and all this shit. Like
Well, they have like that age from like 0 to like 6 months where they're just blobs and they're okay. And then once they start moving, like that 6 months to like 18 months, that's when they try to kill themselves 24/7. Like
yeah,
that's
man.
that's their goal.
I had someone tell me it's like, trust me, it's okay. When they roll over, they'll fall a couple times, but you'll be all right.
Yeah, yeah. As long as they
That's
stop crying.
crazy. Yeah,
So,
exactly.
so for anybody who doesn't know, this is IFBB Pro Joseph Palacios. Thank you for coming on, man. I remember you went in the USA, of course, and then I started working with Justin, and you came up a lot, and then I saw you at Revival, and then I just ran into your torch. I'm like, okay, I gotta link up with you,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
So, so I'm glad
Like
we were
to,
able
like to.
to.
Yeah,
So,
pleasure, man. Thank you.
you were just out in Vegas. Is that where you said your girl's family's there?
So, okay, so her family has a home in Vegas and a home out here in LA.
Oh, okay,
So for
cool.
Christmas, she has two sisters that live out there. So it was just a good meeting point for everybody. It's not too far. Because they work over there, it was easier for us to go out there. So
Yeah.
that's what I was there for. It was my first Christmas with them. So that was cool.
Okay.
Like I've met them all before, obviously, but
Yeah.
to spend Christmas with them was really cool.
Yeah, well, especially, with the baby coming. So you said is she due in May? Was that right? Did I remember that right?
Yes, man.
Okay.
Yeah, good
And
memory.
you
Yeah.
said it's a boy or a girl?
Boy,
Boy, right?
I'm gonna have
Okay,
myself a
cool.
boy.
Oh
Yes.
man, that is awesome. So we'll talk about this because this is bigger than bodybuilding. And it's a little easier to transition into stuff afterwards. But
Thank you.
so right. So were you trying or is this a surprise?
Okay, so literally it went down like this. I'm a bodybuilder, right? And the myth is that not that you can't get pregnant, but that it's rare. And I have I've always wanted to be a dad, I just didn't know when. And
Yeah.
so, TMI, when you're doing things, right? Like and it happens, I had that conversation. Like the moment it happened, I was like, hey, like I'm gonna be honest, like I want to marry you one day, like I see you as a wife and I want you to be the mother of my kids. Like that's what I feel for you. So I was like, it this is the scenario, it could happen. It's just a little more on the rare side of things, but it can happen. She's like, honestly, Joe, I'm on the same page as you. So if it happens, it was meant to happen.
Yeah.
And here we are.
How long how
So
long
it
were
wasn't
you
it
trying, not
wasn't
trying?
planned.
How long
I,
did it take
I
to happen?
I literally think it was that time. I'm not even kidding. Like the
Like,
moment I had that conversation, I felt like that was the moment because we found out she was pregnant when she was already 7 weeks.
okay.
And I like which is it was not too long after that conversation.
Oh yeah.
So like,
You willed your boy into existence.
yeah, man. But it was one of those things like I truly believe it, this is like going into the spiritual side of things, but it's just like if it's meant to be and you want something, it's gonna happen. So was it a rare thing? Of course. But because we both kind of like were there and it was made through that loving aspect, I feel like that's how it happened. Like you
Yeah, and I
almost
mean,
talk it into happening because you
yeah,
believe it's gonna happen.
that's kind of what I just heard, James Hollinshead on the Fowads podcast. He kind of said the
Yeah,
same
dude.
thing.
So that I just watched that, and I was like, damn, I literally was. That's how I felt it happened because people are asking me like, dude, you didn't even like try to come off or do all these other things. I'm like, no, man. But
No.
like, I talked about when I won USA's. I genuinely spoke it every single day. I obviously did the work, but I made it happen. It wasn't like I didn't do what needs to be done, but because I believed in it so much that I literally acted towards the things that needed to be done to make it happen. So I took that in every aspect of life, and shit, it's working. You know,
Yeah,
like
and that's always the chicken or the egg thing, right? Like, do you have that will before you have like the ability, or does it what drives what? So
exactly.
that they kind of go hand in hand. Now, so you have a boy coming, so that's going to be pretty cool. Were you hoping for a boy, or did you care at all?
So I'm that guy that's always wanted a little girl.
Oh yeah,
However, yeah, yeah, and the reason is one of my favorite bodybuilders is Seth Ferosi,
yeah,
and
yeah,
there was I think he did a video one time where he just did like a most muscular and his little girl was with him and she did it with him, and that shit just hit me different. I was like, man, that's fucking cool. Like you expect that from your boy, but to have a little
yeah.
girl, you know, and that kind of stuck with me. But I've always wanted a boy too. It's just
Well, yeah.
I
If you
want to be
have
a girl
two, you
dad somewhere down
if,
the line.
if you have more too, it's kind of good to have the boy first, get that one out the way.
And that's what Ashley said. So my fiance Ashley, she said, you know, Joe, I want both, but if I were to pick one first, it would be the boy because
Yeah.
the older brother dynamic, watching over, the his sister and stuff. And I was like, you know what, I can understand that.
Yeah.
So
So how old are you and your fiance?
I'm 30. I'll be 31 in February. She's
It's perfect.
26. She'll be 27 in February. So yeah,
I
perfect timing for both of us.
I was 31 with my son. Yeah. And same thing. Like, I mean, I always say like Ronnie Coleman has like 8 kids. You know what I mean? Like Boston Lloyd had a kid. Dave Palumbo has kids. And I mean, like, it can definitely happen. Obviously, they did some stuff to try to get their stuff back. But my son, he wasn't planned and I was on trend. It was like contest prep.
That's
You,
crazy, man.
you'd think he would come out a little bit tougher. You think I
Hey, you
was
know
on
what
trend
though?
with
Like
my daughter.
the the podcast you were talking about what James Holling said, Stefan, the coach, he was pretty much saying that if you can have kids on cycle, then you're going to be a good bodybuilder. Because the
Yeah,
people that
right.
can't,
Yeah,
those people are not
exactly.
that
We process the drugs better. We don't
good.
need as much or something.
Yeah, bro.
And
Exactly.
then
See?
and then I had my daughter, and that we were like kind of doing like you, where it was like we're both in a position where we would like a kid. We're not gonna like I wasn't trying to cycle off or do anything, and yeah, and we was like right away too. So I don't know. Maybe it's what is your background, Palacios? Are you like Hispanic? What's your ethnicity?
Yeah, I'm half Hispanic, half white.
See, me
So
too.
my
Maybe
mom's
maybe we're
from
just fertile.
Lincoln, Nebraska. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, that Hispanic side, bro, they're
Yeah.
invincible. They can make anything happen.
You said so your Spanish comes from your mom's side?
No, no. So my dad is from Chihuahua, Mexico, and then my mom's from Lincoln, Nebraska. And they met here in California. But yeah, that's how I was made. I'm a hybrid.
Me too. My mom is like the whitest white person you could ever see, blonde hair and blue eyes,
Yes.
and my dad
Uh,
was like Spanish to 100% Mexican. Uh,
yeah.
so there's not a lot of like good Mexican pros that have like Mexican heritage, huh? Like when I think about it, like in the IFBB,
No, not too many.
yeah. I mean,
That I can think. I honestly can't think of.
I like that one guy. He's in Mexico. He hasn't placed super well. He's got like the neck tattoos. You know what I'm talking about?
Uh,
Real thick. It just doesn't quite come in super shredded.
I have to see him. I have to see
What
him.
what about like historically? Do you know any good who's like the best Hispanic bodybuilder ever? Is this title going to go to you at the end of your career?
I fucking
Got some
hope
good
so.
Cubans. There's some really
Yeah,
good Cubans, but not really.
Mexican people. No, I don't really see them.
Definitely
Like,
not
well, at least
open.
excelling. Yeah, excelling in the
Yeah.
open. No, I don't see it. I honestly think that my so if you were to look at my dad, he had a huge frame. Like, so where I get my width, my low lat insertions, my broad chest, that was all him. Like I remember, like in hindsight now, remembering what he looked like, I'm like, damn, I can see how I got that. But then the leg department, my dad was one of those Mexican dudes, did ever train legs. And so my dad used to work out, just not like me, but he
Yeah.
would work out. And my mom, though, my mom has those like corn-fed genetics. She has the big legs and stuff. She was in the athletics when she was growing up and stuff. So I literally just think I got the best of the both worlds. And
Yeah. You got
because
some
I'm the
freak
only one
genetics.
in my family, like Well, me and my sister got the other, like the feminine side of things, but she's built exactly like me. She's just a girl, but she was into bodybuilding a little bit for like a good 2 years, and then she walked away from it when she realized like, man, this life is really demanding if you actually want to do something with it. And then she got, she had a boyfriend. She's living life now, and she's doing her job and stuff, but she still works out. But she was the only one with that same level of like perfect genetics synchronicity from both sides. My other brothers, are so my two other brothers, my younger brother, he's like me, but just very more like very narrow, small, like fit hands and shit. Like he's a little shorter than me. And then my older brother, he has a different dad, so different genetics. So yeah, me and my sister had the prime genetics.
It's like Bumstead and his sister, sometimes those
Yes.
genes like carry.
When we were coming up, because she's actually, if you ever go on my Instagram, you go to a transformations, my little client thing. She's the girl on there, and she
Your
was my
sister
very
is?
first client. Yes,
Okay.
and yeah, I believe she's the only girl on there, and that transformation took her 2 years, completely natural, but she has great genetics.
Cool. I'll put that up when I do like an overlay of that. I'm going to put a few things
Yeah,
up.
yeah,
So like we talked about a little bit when I started at the gym, you're prepping for Tampa, right? That's your goal.
yeah. So we're supposed to start prep right when around the baby's born,
Yeah, yeah.
so
So
that'll be
so
in the
that's it.
beginning.
Yeah, so that's an interesting dynamic. What are your thoughts on how you're going to handle that? Are you worried that it's going to be like a little bit extra pressure, or you think it's going to be motivating? How do you feel about that?
I'm the kind of guy that I actually do really well under pressure. So the more I guess you could say militaristic I have to live, the better I'll be. So whatever routine I have to set up and the more disciplined I have to be, the better I'm gonna look. So having that baby and stuff, I literally just talked about this the other day. I don't really feel prep too bad until about 4 to 6 weeks out. So I'm pretty good up until then, especially because I've stayed a little leaner this time around. So with that said, I even spoke to Ashley like, look, whatever you need, because in the beginning you're gonna need to recover, you're gonna need me, and I'll be there, I'll be fully there. And I said, but around like that 4 week out mark, that's when I'm gonna need you to step it up. It's not like I'm gonna just go
Yeah.
away. Those times where it's like I do need a little bit more sleep or whatever, like that's when I need you to help me out a little bit more.
So
So
when
that's
do you
kind of
think
the dynamic.
when do you think that will line up? You said about 4 weeks before the show. How old will the baby be by then, you think? What's the due date?
Oh, it should be around 2 months old.
2 months? Okay. That's about, yeah, that's a good time. So I mentioned a little bit to you, like with my daughter's mom, it fucked us up, man. Prepping with the daughter with my daughter being born. I mean, it's different because this isn't how I make a living, you know what I mean? So it's a little
Yeah, yeah,
so I'm hoping you guys have a little bit more of, like you said, of a forward communication about that, which sounds like you do. I mean, hopefully like everything's smooth and it's not like a C-section where, you're gonna have to do a lot of
yeah,
extra stuff. But yeah, I think as long as you guys have it, like you said, you put it out there right away. Obviously, you're going to be there. You're going to be full of energy. It's going to be motivating. But there's definitely going to be times where you need to sleep, man. Or you might need to sleep in a different room or some shit. You're going to have to like
yeah, yeah.
take care of yourself. And
And
I'm
and
assuming she
and
understands that.
she's the one who wanted me to keep going no matter what. Like
So you
even
told her
this
you
year,
might
like she
quit?
didn't want me to mom. Not quit, but I was telling her I'd probably take a year or two
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm
just
saying. Okay.
from competing.
Yeah.
Now I'm not done, like I put a lot into this to
No, no, I
be
just meant
way
quit this
like
prep.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, but the possibility of quitting the prep was on my mind, and she was saying, "Look, Joe, like I don't want you to. I'm going to leave that up to you." And she said, "But I'm not going to be the reason that you do." And so, with that said, I was like, you know what? It is up to me, right? So, however I want to look at it. So that's when my mind started shifting a little bit. Like, okay, if she wants me to do it, then that makes me like feel good about doing it.
Yeah.
So, because that's what it is, like as selfish as this sport is, I can be selfless when it comes to important things in life, right? Like I'm not gonna miss out. Like, say you told me that the baby was gonna be born, and I was literally on the plane to Tampa. I'm coming right back and the show's done. I'm not doing the show. So it's just like when it comes to certain things, bodybuilding is not, it's definitely not everything. There's way more things important than that. But if you have a support system, they're there for you. They want you to keep going. They believe in you. I'm gonna keep going. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like no question about it.
And I mean,
So
honestly, it sounds almost shitty, but it's not shitty. It's just the way it is. It's like at that 2 months, there's not a lot for you to do. You know what I mean? Like she needs her mom.
um,
It's like, it's going to be worse if you, I mean, you're going to prep later too, but it's going to be worse, when they're like 6, 8, 9 months, 10 months, a year, when they, that time means a lot more. Not that it doesn't mean a lot, but they're, like I said, they're fucking blobs at 2 months. I love my kids, but the first 2 months, they're
yeah,
basically their mom's kids. And I just kind of I come in, I do what I can do, but they're attached to the hip,
you know, it's funny because again, they talked about that I think on the podcast, right? You're as the dad, you're pretty much useless in the beginning, like to an extent. I mean, obviously, you need to bring the money in and stuff, and she needs you to go get something here and there, but as far as like hands on, that's the mom in the beginning. And you just gotta know your role and when you need to step in. And my girl is no like she has no fear into letting me know when I need to do something in the best way possible.
Yeah.
It's like, Joe, I need to do this. I need to, she won't hesitate. And I'm learning, even through the pregnancy part of things, like how to kind of like disassociate what she's feeling and what I'm feeling. So like I don't understand a lot of it
Mhm.
and I don't need to. It's not
Yeah.
my job. My job is just be there when she needs me.
Yeah.
And that was interesting to learn in the beginning because it was a completely different dynamic. Like like before she was pregnant to now. So I'm like, okay, like she's definitely one of those. Uh, I like to call it like nesting. She has her comforts, right? She definitely latched on to her mom and stuff. And anything she needed from me, it was very little, but she'll let me know when she does. Because at first I was like, well, should I do this? She's like, no, Joe, like I'll fucking tell you when you need to do something. Because
See,
I'm very much like,
that's important.
yeah, I mean, I want to do stuff like, and that was the thing. Like, I never didn't want to get lost. Like, hey, like I'm here still. Like, I can do stuff, but she doesn't really need anything from me to
Yeah.
do. And that was weird. That was fucking weird.
Well, that's really good, man. That's refreshing because that was probably like our biggest issue is like she kind of like I would almost get mad because I didn't. She expected me to know exactly what you. I was like, you tell me, and I'll do exactly what you fucking want. And so it sounds like your girl kind of is a little bit more on the
No,
same
but
page
in the
with that.
beginning, it wasn't like that though. In the beginning, it wasn't. But then when you got down to it, and I had to kind of like make the conversation be known, like because I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And when I don't know what to do, I'm like, I don't want to come off as annoying, but I'm just keep coming at shit, and I
Yeah.
don't like, but it's because I care, right? And that was the basis of everything. Like, I give a fuck. And because I give a fuck, I keep coming at you. So once we established that, as plain and simple as that sounds, like everything we've been coasting. And it's pretty cool, because now it's just like there's a common understanding of what needs to be done for this part.
Yeah.
And that was that. So like when I came out here, you saw me in Vegas. That was we were good. Everything was established. The change wasn't as drastic anymore. It was like, okay, this is life right now, and then just on to the next part after this.
Yeah.
So
And it
that's
sounds
where
like
we're
you
at right
guys both have a lot of family that will help support, which is big. It's not 1,000%, you when you have, a tribe to help, which is big. That's all my family's gone in Texas and stuff, so it's a little bit more on me.
and well, the best part of all of it is that this girl, who is now my fiance, she's her family owns a tax business. So she will be 100% available for that baby when it's born. So the tax season ends around
Yeah.
after April, like a month or two after April max. And then they
Yeah.
have like some appointments, but she doesn't have to be there because the whole family runs the business, right?
That's cool.
Um, so that's pretty dope that she has that business. And then I'm a personal trainer, right? And I have my online stuff. So I only need to be present sometimes based on whatever schedule I decide to make.
Exactly.
So I have that too. So that's a really big thing we got going for us.
So it seemed like you got a lot of traits that'll like lead you to being a good dad. What's something that you think will translate, in your personality to being a good father?
Honestly, just my discipline to do things, to execute things. Um, and then one thing that I've recently been working on is, I guess you could say, learning how to handle my emotions. Right. This is a man. When you're enhanced, you realize real quick, like they can come out, right? And
Miss that
yeah,
Arimidex one
bro,
day.
bro. No, but emotions too, just even like as far as like I guess you could say like aggression, right? like how to understand when like not to act out just based on what you're feeling in that moment. Like really just breathe. Just like go work out or take a walk or do whatever the hell you got to do, but just how to handle your emotions and then communicate things. So I think between discipline, handle your emotions, and communication, I've I have a lot to bring to the table for him. I've never been one to like really. So say when I switched and I got on gear, it hasn't affected me that bad, and that's why like but I feel things, right. So instead of letting them come out, I know how to manage that and channel it and use it towards productive things, and I want to make sure he can do the same because
Is
some
that
people don't.
is that something you're working on, or you feel like you've got it pretty good now?
I've got it pretty good now
Okay.
that I've been working on over the past few years. And but it's definitely something that because my dad wasn't around to teach me that stuff. So I'm just like, I can give that to him because my dad, in hindsight, learning like, or I mean, looking back, I saw that in my dad, and then saw it myself. I was, yeah, I need to change this
Yeah.
because he didn't try to fix that. Like I want to fix that. Yeah,
Okay, cool. So that answers, I was going to ask you, is there something that you're trying to work on? So it sounds like that was something you were kind of already had
that
in your
was very
mind.
recent. Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, cool, man.
But
So
the discipline side of things, like if being a man of your word, right? That's what I mean by discipline as well. Everything I've ever said I'm gonna do, I've done it. So if I say I want to be a pro bodybuilder, but I said I was gonna do it, I did it, right? I wanted to start my own little business. I did that. I in previous jobs, I'm gonna get promoted till I get to this position. I did that. It's whatever you say you're gonna do, like stick to your word and do it. No matter what. It could take a day, months, years, doesn't matter, but keep going till you make it happen. So just be a man of your word.
yeah, I think
That's
that's
huge.
huge. I did a podcast too,
And
and they
I've done
asked me
that
like,
since day one.
yeah, that's like what it means to be a man, I think, being dependable and accountable, especially to your family.
Yes, 100%. And it's
So
been
did
cool
you,
because some of the things I've been able to prove that to even Ashley, which is obviously why she wants to be my wife.
how
Everything
long have
I
y'all been
said from the
together?
very beginning, it'll be 7 months. I asked her early.
Yeah, hey, man, when you know
Yeah,
sometimes, you know.
I've said that I've been in a relationship for 12 years at one point. I've been in a relationship for 3. And this one, I was like, damn, this is it. This is the one. I knew it earlier than that, earlier than when I asked her. And I was just like, you know what? Like when the baby happened, I would have asked earlier. When the baby happened, um, I gave her some time because that was big. And
Yeah.
then now, obviously, everyone saw that I asked her to be my wife.
Nice.
So,
That's awesome. I'm really happy for you, man. I think that'll be motivating. I think it'll be nothing but positive, at least this year. We'll see how it goes as he gets a little older, or as he gets a little bit older.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So where are you from, Joseph? Are you from out here in Cali? Well, I'm in Texas now, but are you from Cali or where are you from?
Yeah. Are you, well, I'm from Cali. I'm
Yeah,
born and raised here. You're
yeah.
staying in Texas or you
I
coming
just
back?
visit. I'm visiting right now. Yeah, but this is
Oh,
where my
okay,
family
okay.
is. Yeah.
But yeah,
So what
I
part
was
of
born and raised in Cali and
what part?
Los Angeles area, Los Angeles. So I mean, I'm close to Vegas.
Yeah.
That's why that was cool. But born and raised here. My mom has been here since she was 20 years old. She's 66 now, so she's been here for a while. And this house that I'm in right now, literally, I was like born here.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
what
but
part of LA?
I don't know how to describe this to you.
I mean, I know
Uh,
LA really well. I lived there a bunch of times, like 3 or 4 different times.
I'm in Downey. You
Okay,
know
yeah,
what
yeah, I know
Downey is?
that. Yeah, yeah, for sure. That's better than LA. That's not LA, really.
Yeah, it's like in the outskirts, right? But
Yeah,
that's
you're
not
out
like
of the middle
LA,
of the.
LA.
Yeah, I lived right in the chaos in Hollywood and in downtown LA, and it's just I'm not an LA or Hollywood guy. It's not my scene.
Yeah, no, baby lives in Hollywood, and I could never,
Yeah,
bro. Like
yeah. He lives
that's
in West. I lived in West Hollywood too. I lived right in Boys Town, in the like the gayest street you could live on. Too.
it's
Like
like I just couldn't. Nothing against any of those guys, I just that's not like you said, it's not
well,
my place.
well, I was there for work. It wasn't like I was like, this is where I want to
What you
land.
didn't want to. Yeah,
That
but
was
the area's
fun for
cool,
sure.
like I have access to everything, like literally up the street for me, so it's been real easy. The gyms that I train at, they're I mean, okay, so a Revival from here it takes me 30 minutes to get to.
Oh, nice. Takes
Like
me almost
so
30 from Newport.
uh, see, so that's not bad, right? And but that's like the farthest okay, I'm lying. The farthest I've gone is Claremont, where Larry Wheels gym's at, one gym.
Oh yeah,
I go over
yeah,
there every once in a while. It's I'll probably visit out there like twice a month. But
yeah.
normally I'm at Fit Nation Madhouse, which is in Cudahy by Southgate.
I don't know that one. Madhouse?
Yeah,
Is it pretty
Madhouse. So if you
slick?
ever yeah, it's cool. It's definitely a younger atmosphere.
Hmm.
It's very clean. It's like black and red, but
Yeah.
the owners there are super cool. Um, I train clients there too, so I train out of Fit Nation and at Madhouse. It's just I have more at Fit Nation,
Yeah.
but
You ever go
yeah,
to
Fit
Metroflex?
Nation.
Kind of close to you, right?
Yeah, so yeah, that's another one I'll go to. That one's a little rare. I went there pretty much for the last like 6 weeks before my last show, like those 6 weeks out, because they had really good leg equipment that
Yeah.
pretty much I went there for Paul because their leg equipment wasn't messing with his knees, and Paul's knees were killing him this last show. So we went there to finish off our prep just for legs, literally just for legs. And then the rest of the time we trained at either Madhouse or Fit Nation. But Metroplex is cool. It's just with Metroplex, uh, there's a lot of machines that my body just doesn't like there. Like for chest in particular, um, but their back equipment's pretty good. They don't have a lot for arms. I guess you don't really need a lot for arms, but just there's other equipment that I like in other places. And then yeah, legs and back are probably the only reasons I would go to Metroplex myself.
Yeah, I like the legs. That's usually what I'll go up there for. You ever go down
Yeah, they
to
have
you ever make it down to PB, go to the gym?
to where?
The gym in Pacific Beach? It's south, way south,
Oh,
but
oh,
you've been
oh,
there before,
oh,
right?
the gym. The gym. I went to the gym in San Diego.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's yeah.
Oh, see, yeah, see,
Well, it's in
I've
Pacific
been there.
Beach, but
There's
yeah, San
two.
Diego.
There's two of them though, right?
There's one in
In
Vista,
San Diego.
yeah. Well, there's one in
I
Vista
don't
and
know
there's
which
one
one I
in
went.
Pacific Beach. I mean, usually people would consider the Pacific Beach one the San Diego one.
Okay, so is it the one
It's
where
the
they
huge
have
one with the
like?
shitty parking, the 3 stories and everything. Horrible
Okay, that's the
parking.
one I've been to
Yeah,
then.
yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah,
one of the best. That's
that's
one of the best gyms in the States for sure.
bro. That gym's incredible. I actually made a trip out there with both Paul and Ashley. Me and Ashley went first, and then I told Paul, dude, like you would love this gym because he never went. And so literally, I think it was a week or two later we went back just to
Yeah.
go there so Paul could see it.
I used
It
to
was
go
dope.
I used to go like every Sunday. It's about a 50-minute drive if I leave early on Sunday from where I'm at. It's pretty far for you though.
It's far as hell. Like it took I think both times it took me about an hour and 45 minutes
Yeah,
to get
yeah,
there.
for sure. And that's with not much traffic too, I'd assume.
Yeah, so when I went with Ashley, we just made a day out of it. Like
Yeah.
we got there at like I think we got there at like 12 or 2 p.m. and then we just stayed out there. We ate.
Yeah.
We got like this bomb ass pizza spot out there.
There's good spots there. It's
So
cool.
yeah, there was. So Ashley's good at finding everything. Like that's what we did.
Yeah.
That was cool.
So when did you like I've seen a lot of your pictures. I mean, you've been looking nuts for a long time, even when you were natty. And I have a lot of natty people that watch me just because I've done some stuff with some pretty big influencers. And I think also because I look not natty, but I look not like a fucking monster like you. You know?
You look good,
So
man. You look good.
so I think I get a little bit more of them that follow me, and I do a lot of the biomechanics stuff. When did you first start working out, and like how long before you hopped on? Because you look pretty fucking crazy. I saw your transformation that you posted where your natty transformation. So
Yeah.
like when did you start working out, and how old were you at that point when you got to that peak natty?
Okay. Well, if you consider me starting, it should count. Was in high school because my freshman year we started lifting weights.
In football?
After my season, yeah, in football. So after the new year of my freshman year, so let's just say January of freshman year, I started lifting weights. Um, and I already had like without knowing that I was meant for this shit, like I remember my brother when I was in eighth grade, before I played football in high school. My brother took me to 24-hour fitness with him, and I was just supposed to like run on the treadmill or some shit, but he was hitting chest. He had a plate on the bench, and he was like trying to fuck with me, right? He was like, "Here, Joseph, you try this shit." So I get on it, and I was able to hit the plate 6 times, and I was in eighth grade.
First time you ever bench pressed?
Yeah. And he was like, "What the fuck?" Because he was in high school. He's 6 years older than me,
Oh shit.
or he was just out of high school, and he was like, "What the fuck?" And so, but again, I didn't understand what that even meant. But so that was then getting to high school, and then my body responded very fast once I started working out. So I was a big kid going into my freshman year, but I wasn't like fat. I was 175 pounds on my freshman year. I was starting middle linebacker. Me and my best friend were both running backs who would switch. So I was the overall MVP. What my
Yeah.
my freshman year, my football team, they moved me up to varsity. But when I started lifting weights, going into my sophomore year, I started varsity as a middle linebacker, and I went from 175 to 205. So I gained 30 pounds.
At like
And
16? You're 16 when you gained 30 pounds?
yeah,
Damn.
and
Jesus
so
Christ. Are you eating
yeah,
like anything particular, or you're just fucking just growing, just not even trying to eat at
so
that point? You don't really
the
think about it then, do you?
literally my mom. So I would eat whatever, to be honest. But on top of whatever, my mom would she told me that it takes calories to be muscular. That's all she knew. And she bought me like little Jif jars of peanut butter.
Yep.
She literally it's like eat some of this before you go to bed. And so I would eat like half a jar to maybe three-quarters of a jar, of a peanut butter before I would go to sleep. So I just kept growing, and then but I was strong. So like strong for me was like the end of freshman year. I was able to bench 2 plates. I was able to squat 4 plates. Military press a plate in the quarter. Uh, clean, hang clean, or no, what was it?
Yeah, yeah. Hang clean. We did hang clean in football.
Yeah. So for like 2 plates or something like
Yeah.
that.
Fuck.
And that was a
Freshman.
lot for me for a
Yeah.
freshman. Yeah. So I was just again not understanding what I had by just growing faster than everybody. I would have all my other teammates be like, "Joe, what the fuck are you doing?"
Right. They thought
Like
you were on juice or something.
yeah, no, they didn't think I was on juice, but they were just like, "What the fuck are you eating to help you get like that?" And I just told everybody the peanut butter because that's all I was doing.
Like and the whole team's
Like,
just eating jars of
yeah,
peanut butter.
I had a few people, but you see, they would get fat. I didn't, and I always wondered like I honestly because I've always worked out hard, like really hard, like it's all I knew to do, and I just don't think they would push themselves like I did. So
Well,
obviously, I've always said that
probably, but they also don't have your fucking genetics,
no,
obviously.
they didn't. They didn't. No. So I would train hard, I would eat, and then I would just get a result. And but yeah, so the base of all of my working out was football in high school, and then I kept working out.
Did you keep making jumps through high school, or did you kind of like at that point as a natty, you're not going to gain 20 pounds every year, right?
Yeah, no, so I did. I mean, the heaviest I got was I broke my foot, and I actually got kind of chubby, but I kept lifting, so I was still getting stronger and stuff. Not crazy jumped like I did, but yeah, the heaviest I got in high school was like 229, I think was the heaviest, 230. And then once I realized though I was getting kind of fat, I wasn't just kind of fat, I was getting fat. And I actually dropped back down in weight. Like I fucking dropped hard. So I already knew how to lose weight like back then. So I got down to like 185 pounds, and then I gained my weight back to 205, which was like my where my body liked to be.
Yeah.
So that's how I pretty much finished off my football in high school. But then I got all fucked up. I got all depressed after high school, like at my senior year. So I
Because
wasn't
of
gonna play
football
football
ending?
anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, football
Yeah, I saw
ending,
that a
and I
lot
just
in
had
Texas.
I yeah, bro, I had too many injuries to keep going. Like it just wasn't fun anymore, which was depressing because I loved it so much. But so I stopped working out completely, and I also was afraid of getting fat because I just dropped all that weight, right? So I got skinny as fuck. Like we're
Wow.
talking really, really skinny. I even developed an eating disorder. I talked about it on Dave Palumbo's podcast, and I got down to 145 pounds at my
What the
like
fuck?
skinniest.
Whoa, I
Yeah,
didn't know that. So just restricting calories like a lot, or how are
yeah.
you?
I was really afraid to eat because I was super afraid of getting fat. Because I grew up a fat kid,
Yeah.
and then I kind of grew up a little bit. I had to lose weight to play football and Pop Warner football because there was weight limits. Then in high school, I was just kind of like no, there was nothing holding me back, but I was in shape because I had to lose weight before. So that's why I was good at losing weight. I just knew how already. And then yeah, so I got depressed as fuck and then got really skinny. And then I ended up like getting through that, but then it turned into like another eating disorder, which like it was a binge eating disorder. So I couldn't stop eating because I starved my body so much, I literally
Yeah.
couldn't stop. But then once I kind of ate my way back up to 220, it kind of stopped. But I couldn't diet because anytime I would try to diet, automatically I'd start
Yeah.
eating again.
Well, your body was
So
just so
about
afraid. Your body knew what you did
yeah,
to it.
yeah. So but um about a year after high school, that's when I started working out again. So I was like, okay, if I'm gonna be eating all this food and being chubby as fuck, I might as well just start working out again.
So
But
you
I
went a whole
can't
year.
diet, so yeah, I didn't do
Damn.
nothing for a year.
That's
Uh,
wild. Just looking at your physique when you were younger still too, that you put that back on so quick too.
yeah, well, muscle memory, like
Yeah.
it's real, right? So I started lifting weights again, and I was still chubby, but you could see shape coming onto my body. And then
Well, what brought you out of
I
that? Did your mom say anything? I mean, she was the one trying to get you all huge eating the peanut butter. Like, how did you snap out of that?
no, honestly, like there was pretty much an event that happened at a party, and I just made a fucking fool of myself. Like I was drunk and shit, and I was like, man, like this is not who I want to be. Like I do not want to be this person. And so now keep in mind, okay, getting out of the, I didn't, so the eating disorder didn't really stop until 2 years after I gained that weight back. So I couldn't diet. So I still kept eating terrible, but I wouldn't let it turn into binge eating because I never tried to diet anymore. So my mind didn't get all messed up with it.
Yeah.
So I just kept working out. So my mind was still fucked up. I just kept working out. I never stopped being depressed up until, oh, and then my dad passed away when
Oh.
I was 22. So that made it worse. So I now started drinking a lot, and then that's when that party happened. And
So what happened at
then
the
I
party?
kind
Like,
of
what was the instance at the party? You were skinny at the party, or you were fat at the party?
no, I was chubby at the party
You were
already. Like
chubby.
I was chubby. I never, even though I was working out, I stayed chubby.
Yeah.
Like I just was like a more muscular, chubby guy. A
Yeah.
party buff, I guess you could
Yeah.
call it. But I had a little man tits and shit still. Like I just was like there was some density behind those tits.
Yeah.
And so but so I didn't deal with my dad's death the best. And so on top of getting through the eating disorder stuff, I lost my dad and then I started drinking a ton. And at the party, I like drank to oblivion and I tried to fight like everybody there. I embarrassed like my ex at the time. My brother was there. I tried to fight my brother, tried to fight one of my best friends. And
Most of
I
us
even so
Latinos
much,
have been there once or
yeah,
twice.
man. No, but then I even tried to like it was terrible. I tried to run into the street, like and I tried to kind of like get like end it kind of thing.
Yeah.
And my brother stopped me. And the next day, I I was so like embarrassed because my mom was involved with it and everything after it all happened. And I was like, damn, like this is not. My dad would not be proud of me, like
Yeah.
dealing with things like this and stuff. And I was like, I need to change my life, or else I'm not going to live very long. So,
Sometimes you need those
literally,
catalysts, man.
yeah, it was huge. And then, so when that happened, I literally like I put myself. I said to myself, the first thing I'm going to do is fix my body because I'm a huge believer in mind, body, soul, and it's going to start by working on yourself, like physically, which will help me get more into my mental state and all these things. And then pretty much my life flipped around after that. I got in shape for the first time. It literally took me 8 weeks to get in incredibly good shape. Just because I always, even during that time, I always wanted to get in shape, but I couldn't diet because of the whole eating disorder thing. But I was away from it for so long that my body and mental state like kind of got over the eating disorder. I just didn't realize it until I tried again. And then, but yeah, in 8 weeks, I went from that chubby person to like in really good shape for a normal person. My abs showing and stuff, like veins and stuff. And then, so I taught myself how to diet properly. I taught myself about macros and all these things. I did all of my learning through all that crazy period.
Like on forums, or would
And
you like where were you looking? Who were you learning from?
YouTube, forums,
Was
literally
there
just
somebody who was
Google
like a big
itself.
influence early on?
Believe it or not, there was two. So you know who Chris Jones is?
Oh
Beast
yeah,
Mode Jones.
yeah.
He was huge on teaching me a lot of the things that I learned. Um, the other one was his name's Eric Konevsky,
Oh
and
yeah,
it's
yeah.
not so much that he taught me anything. It was just that I saw how fat he got and how he was just man enough to get in shape. And it was more so that inspired me to be able to like, man, what the fuck? Like, it's just that simple. I just got to man the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, and so it was those two that taught me a ton.
Are
Mental
you
and then
sorry?
obviously
Are
the
you
actual nutrition.
are you in? Are you? What are you doing? Are you working? Are you in school? What are you doing with your life at this point?
Oh, I'm just a fucking full on bodybuilder that personal
Yeah.
trains people and then coaches people on the side.
So did
Like
you have
that's all I do.
aspirations to turn pro already?
I didn't want to turn pro until I didn't even want to be a bodybuilder for a long time. I just wanted to look good and I wanted to be muscular. I didn't care to ever step on stage. It was when so let's see when all that went down. I just turned 23 when I turned my life around, and literally just turned 23. Got in shape, and then what happened? I okay, so I learned how to diet and all that, and I started building myself up. So I bulked up. This is all natural. Bulked up, cut down, and then I bulked up, and then I was going with it was my ex at the time. We were going to Hawaii together, and I was like, I want to be the most shredded guy out there because I've already gotten lean once, so I know I can do it again. But I know I'm going to do it look better this time. And so I may have a picture on there somewhere, but on my Instagram somewhere for that trip. But in 10 weeks, I got fucking shredded like for just that trip, like crazy lines in my back, stripes in my shoulders, all that stuff. I did that in 10 weeks. I went to Hawaii and actually was I wanted to compete when I came back, and that was in 2019. And it, uh, when I came back though, I had so much fun in Hawaii and I got to live life. I was like, I'm not gonna fucking compete. Like I'm gonna. I was like, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm going to grow one last time as a natural athlete, and I'm gonna cut down into a show. I'm gonna prep for a show. And I actually prepped myself. And so a year later, 2020 now, I competed in my first bodybuilding show. I had help like the last 4 weeks just because I didn't want to mess up the peaking process. I didn't understand it too well at the time. And but again, all natural, no cleanse, no nothing. It was literally just food and diet and water manipulation.
No pro
Um,
hormones, nothing. I
Nothing.
guess you're young. I guess you're younger. Like when I was around, like you could just buy them at GNC and shit. So it's a
Yeah,
little.
no, yeah. So no, I didn't use none of that stuff. And I ended up placing second at the Iron Games in San Diego in
That's a big show
2020. I
too.
even competed I competed in with a mask on
Yeah.
because
Oh,
it
that's
was
right.
COVID.
COVID. Yeah.
So my show, it's funny, my very first show ever. So it was natural. It was during COVID. I competed with the mask on, and literally prejudging and finals was right after one another.
Yeah.
They did. My show lasted 2 hours because they couldn't
Get
have
you in
that
and out.
break and all that crap. Yeah. But yeah, so I competed in two categories. I competed in novice and open. So not true novice, just
Yeah.
novice. So I took second in both of them.
And obviously the guy who won
And
was on gear.
yeah, and they were shocked that I was still natural and stuff just because the way I
What did
looked.
you weigh?
And 187.
Yeah. And you're pretty
I'm five
shredded.
eight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like 5'8" and 3 centimeters or some shit.
Yeah.
And but the thing was, it was the first time I ever got to the point of that lean, and my legs, no matter what I did, they didn't have deep lines. There was even a little bit of striations in my the teardrop,
Yeah.
but or not the teardrop, the side sweep, but it
Uh,
was it I could not get my legs to show like crazy detail. So or my glutes, and no matter how much I pushed.
Do you remember
So
if you did any water manipulation or anything back then?
I did, but it wasn't like if you look at everything, I'm diced everywhere. It was just my legs. Like and there were kind of I literally just put up a picture on my Instagram. You can see how lean I was. I'm with my the guy that helped me the last 4 weeks, my friend
Oh,
Casey.
oh, I saw that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I just saw that. I
That was
remember
my
when he
first
turned
show.
pro. Okay, okay. So when you posted that Natty transformation Tuesday, do you know the one I'm talking about? Where you were kind of
I posted a
heavier?
few of them.
Oh,
I
this is where
posted
you
the all natural one.
all natural one. So was that around the time of your show? The after
No,
picture?
no. Wait, was I outside? Was I outside with my hat
Hold
backwards?
on. I'll pull it up real quick. It's the one where you were kind of fat and you were saying you've always been a little bit chunky in the bulking. This one, I don't know if you can see that.
With the okay, yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
that was
So
no, that
that's
was
Natty right there.
that was yeah. They're both yeah. I'm natty,
Fuck.
and that's what it was like going to Hawaii.
Oh, that's when you're going to Hawaii, so you got even better shape than that Natty.
Yes,
So I mean, a lot
I
of
mean
people would say
it was
that's
very
peak.
comparable.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I did that by myself. There was no help with that.
That's pretty wild, man. So did your like when you were natty and you built that physique without any drugs, did your training style change as you got enhanced and put on so much weight, or what did you
No,
change up?
man, nothing. I the only thing that I like I can do more volume now.
Yeah.
I guess you could say, and recover from it. I can do more training styles and actually get something out of it because I was always a believer in pyramid sets. So when you're natural, strength matters more than anything. Well, strength and food because you don't have your body can't handle a crazy amount of volume when you're natural. So you need strength to be able to put weight on the bar and break down your fibers that way with that form of progressive overload, right? And so again, this is all my opinion. It's because of what built me. And so I always did pyramid sets. So I was pretty strong for a natural guy. And all I would do is try to add a little bit more to the bar each week. It wasn't always linear, but I would do other things to try to make it like to where I would still jump up in strength. So say
So
I
what was
would
the rep
cut some.
range with your pyramids?
It was always either 12, 10, 8, 6 or 15, 12, 10, 8. If it was legs, it was 20, 15,
Yeah.
12, 10. So, but always in that. And so with each set, I would add a little more, but I would just do less reps. So my body was always acclimating to a new load of weight. So
Did
it
you
would it
do
would learn.
did you do like a similar split, like a bro split, or were you doing more body parts at
I
once?
I I did more frequency style. So I actually didn't do push pull legs. I did it was Arnold's old split.
Oh
It
shit.
was
You did Arnold split natty.
no, well it was chest and back, and I would do three exercises for each legs, and then the third day was shoulders and arms,
Okay.
and then you would rest and then do the other three. That's what I would do.
Yeah. Wow. And so a lot of these natty guys that follow me in the or like in the fitness industry, they really like harp on RIR and like getting as much volume as possible and huge, stretch mediated hypertrophy. Are these like things that you're thinking of, or you're just going in there, you're doing like work, like are you going to failure? Are you trying to hit some crazy stretch, or how did you approach things when you're natty?
No, I always approached it with the rep range and not doing too much. Like it was very much get more out of less. So like quality over quantity. Like I didn't believe in doing a crazy amount of sets or all this stuff. Or it was like each my what I consider failure back then, or still to this day, is mechanical failure.
Yeah, yeah.
So if I can get another rep, even on the pyramid set, so say the first set was 12 reps, I would take that to mechanical failure. And then I
Yeah.
would put like 5 pounds on each side of whatever the movement was. And I would do 10 reps of mechanical failure. So I always train to failure to an extent. Nowadays, though, because I'm a lot stronger, I don't necessarily train to failure every set, but the last two, I'll get pretty damn close. So like my sets now, it's like if I want to do two working sets, I'll do a working set and a true failure set. So that working set, I may have like maybe one rep left, and I'll save that for the top set and take it to true failure, and then I'll walk away and do another movement. That's pretty much how I train now. But it's still with the pyramid style. I will build up to a certain load, unless my strength's not there that day, and then I'll change my style and do something different. But my bread and butter was always what I just said. From natural to enhanced didn't matter. That's how I always did it.
Thanks. And another thing that a lot of like another topic that comes up a lot is like bulking for these natty guys. Like there's a big, kind of disagreement on whether you can just take a little bit of a surplus and make pretty good progress or whether you should take a big surplus and you can make better progress. So, I mean, you made some crazy gains. So were you eating a pretty high surplus when you were trying to gain as a natty? How did you gain that much muscle
My
tissue?
my surplus was always 300 to 500 calories,
So
and
not huge. Yeah.
I would adjust my calories based on my body's response. So just like a coach would. So like for example, I always made sure I gained at least a pound a week back then. And so to keep that
God, that's a
consistent,
natty.
I would, yeah. So to keep that consistent, um, I would literally, so back then I would just count my calories, but I would give myself a protein amount and I would give myself a calorie amount. So within that calorie amount, as long as I hit this base protein, even if I had more, it didn't matter. But as long as
Yeah.
that base protein was hit and the calories were there, that's all I cared about. And whatever surplus I gave myself, say I started off at 300, I would build it up, and it's like, okay, did I gain a pound this week? Okay, cool. I gained a pound. I'm gonna add another 300, and then if I stalled out, okay, instead of 300, I'm gonna add 500, and then I would go back. I would slowly climb, 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 and I always. That's why me and Justin from the very beginning worked so well because he was huge on pushing food.
Yeah.
So he just took what I already knew and already did, and he just allowed me not to think anymore. Now he can do the thinking. I'm just gonna do the work.
Yeah.
So that that's why we were worked so well from the beginning. He already thought like I did. All
Yeah.
right, cool.
Well, you
So,
guys, you guys both made like the same fucking transformation. You're like literally, like no one has made the transformation that Justin made except for like you. I can think of like
but
in
it, but
like
it's the simplicity of things, right? Are
yeah,
you
yeah,
eating enough and are you training hard? Like that's why Justin always talks about training. Don't train like a pussy, right?
yeah.
It's because if you're going to be eating this much food, you better be putting this much work in. And so even when I got to 300 pounds in 2023, like I still had abs, but my output, I was training fucking hard. I put on 20 pounds of stage tissue for a reason, like it was the hardest thing that I ever did, but like it's possible. It's just genetics and how hard you're willing to work and can you fucking eat the food.
Right. Yeah,
That's as
that's the
simple as
biggest
it is.
one. Yeah, I mean that's some of that's genetic component too. Is like how much can you digest and partition.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you did your natty show, you got second, and then after that you're like, okay, I'm gonna hop on and see what kind of a freak I can turn into, or what was your thought process
Yeah.
then? Because you knew, right? You knew
So
you're like, I got something going on. Like,
yeah, no, that's why I competed natural because I wanted to see like, is this worth it? Because I'm a realist. I know how much how much sacrifice and time and effort and energy this takes to live this life. And I said, well, if I'm going to do this and I'm going to try to compete in it, I got to make sure it's worth it. I got to make sure this is something that my body is built for. And so I did the show natural. I placed that well. I was like, well, fuck, man. If I was on the same playing field, I would have beat all those guys. And so because it was such a new world to me, the gear side of things, I wasn't going to do it without guidance. I wasn't willing to be a guinea pig. So I didn't want to mess with my hormones like that. So I went to my buddy Casey, who helped me finish that, and he was my first coach, and he was my friend too, but I still paid him and stuff. and he definitely set me up for success. And so he pretty much rebounded me from natural to enhanced during that rebound. So I
Oh yeah.
started my cycle during that rebound. And I because I was natural, I had a lot of time to do that cycle because
Yeah.
some people can only do a rebound so long
Yeah, that's
because
true.
they're
Right.
just
Yeah.
on gear for
20
like
weeks.
whatever.
Yeah.
So this I was able to do a full-fledged cycle
Oh
right coming out
shit.
the gate. So I literally gained 50 pounds in the first 8 weeks.
And it was pretty lean, huh?
I mean, I still had my abs showing.
Damn.
I got a little chubby towards the end, but he was again my guidance has always been kind of like the same from my own to his to Justin's, where he kept pushing the food. And I went from 187 to 238, and I
And
kind of
then
just stayed there for a bit. Yeah, and then so I competed pretty much right before 2021, and then got under KC. I did two cycles with KC, and then he passed me on. Well, he told me
what was your first one? What was when you were doing the rebound? What was your very first cycle?
it was 500 grams. I'm sorry, 500 milligrams of
Yeah, make sure we
test. So
correct
yeah, 500 grams. Yeah,
that.
500 milligrams of test and 50 milligrams of D-ball for the first 5 weeks.
Did 15?
50 milligrams
Oh,
of D-ball
I was like, where do you get? Okay, yeah, okay.
for 5 weeks, and then I finished with the same amount of test. Once the D-ball was pulled out, we put in EQ,
Yeah,
and that. It was a 16-week cycle.
that's a pretty standard, good first one. Like that's pretty typical.
Yeah, and that's all I did for my first one. And then my second cycle, there was a lot going on in my life the second cycle, but the second
So
cycle
you
wasn't
did,
the
I'm
best.
sorry, you did full PCT after the first one?
I did a PCT, and then after that, I said I'll never do that again.
You didn't feel very good or what?
No, it was terrible. I went through all the depression and shit you could think of.
Yeah,
My body didn't respond. Like I was like soft as a fucking pillow. Like,
dick
oh,
not
what the
working.
fuck? Oh my god. And after that, I mean, I stayed true to it. I got my natural test back for sure because my strength went back up. Everything started feeling good again. By like, I think 6 weeks after I came off everything, I started feeling kind of normal.
And no growth at all
Um,
at this point?
no. And then I did my second cycle. After the second cycle, I went on TRT, and I've done that ever since. And then my third cycle is with Justin.
Okay. So have you competed again yet?
No.
Okay.
So I had three full cycles under my belt. And then the fourth cycle was me prepping for the California with Justin.
This is 22?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, did you win that? You won that one, right?
Yeah, I won the California in 22.
Okay.
And so, and then at the
Were you a heavy?
California,
You were a heavyweight?
yes,
Okay.
I was 218
Oh, nice.
at
That's
the
perfect.
California.
You're pretty shredded.
Yeah,
I think I remember.
that was the most peeled I've ever been.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
because okay, so this is what I've told people too. Like, I was just as peeled at USA's because I was only 228 the day of the show at USA's. But I actually cut into some muscle tissue doing that because I originally was supposed to be a heavyweight again, but then he decided last minute to make me a super heavy. And like I was ready at about 233
Oh
just
shit.
to, and we pushed farther. So I took about 10 pounds off me that I didn't need to. But it set me up for a crazy rebound.
Right.
But in 22, when I won the California, one thing that I I don't talk about much was that first initial rebound when I gained all that weight, um, from natural to enhanced. I didn't really get any bigger than that. So the next two cycles, I pretty much stayed the same weight and I just kept working out. Like the heaviest I saw on the scale, I think was 247, but I didn't hold it very long. And I started prep with Justin in 2022 at 238 or 239. So I literally pretty much stayed the same weight. So that muscle stuck around for like a year and a half. And so when I got peeled for the California, like that was matured muscle that I had a good amount of time sitting on me. When I got ready for USA's, I put on new muscle and then cut into it, and that look was good. I was peeled, but it didn't have that same texture of muscle that I did when I was in the California. And then fast forward, I win USA's, and then I rebound. I go from 228. Well, the lowest I was that prep was 223, but I go from 228 at USA's, and I shoot up to 288 post USA's
How long?
in 9 weeks.
Oh shit, were you okay?
Yeah, I was good. I was lean. I had abs and everything.
When
And
you're making these big gains, like, are you having like blood pressure issues or anything like that? Water
I,
retention, sleep
water
apnea?
retention, yes. Water retention, yes. Sleep apnea, no.
You don't have sleep apnea now? It's your fucking big ass. You don't have to wear
No, no.
CPAP.
I've never woke up like choking and shit. But I
Yeah,
mean, I
man,
don't
you got some
sleep
good
the best.
genetics. Yeah,
I don't sleep the best, but I don't choke. But
yeah.
yeah, I jumped up to 288,
Your blood pressure was
and
solid.
I don't think so. I didn't check it at the time. But I mean, I instantly dropped back down to 270 once I came off cycle. So a lot of that water left my body and stuff. So when I did all these things, the muscle was so new every time I did those big jumps that I haven't been able to match the conditioning that I had at the California because I keep putting muscle on my body. So it doesn't have time to like mature,
What do you think that
basically
is?
muscle.
You have any
Just
theories on?
time.
I mean,
I
on
mean,
like,
time and age. Like that's why I said the look was so different in 22 because I gave that muscle time, literally almost a full 2 years before I competed again. So I'm like with the this time around, my coach or well Justin, he wants me to get as close to that look that I had in 22. So that's why he doesn't want me to get much bigger.
yeah.
Plus,
Well,
I
you're
don't want to
fucking
lose my
huge
waist.
now. Yeah, you're huge now.
Yeah.
Do you feel
So
like your
he
waist has
wants,
grown? What with all the size you gained?
yes, it for sure has. If you look at my pictures from
Yeah,
22 to
you always
now,
had a pretty big rib cage. Your waist was a little smaller, but that's gonna happen, as everything
yeah,
goes on.
it's gonna happen. So a lot of people compare me to Nick, and the one thing that me and Nick have is like we grow, but we grow everywhere. So like I need to minimize how fast I grow at this point. Because my body, since I was a young kid, obviously just wants to
Fucking
keep
dude.
growing. So I mean, it's cool, but with with pros comes cons too, right? So even
Yeah.
certain movements, Justin needs me to avoid just because
Like
just
what?
core activation and stuff. Like, okay, for example, I was doing I think it's called well, it's a standing shoulder press. I just forgot what it's
Oh
called.
yeah,
A
yeah.
bike.
So yeah, the Atlantis one at the
Yes, yes, yes.
yeah, yeah.
So man, I can do 6 plates on that thing. And Justin was like, "Hey, let's not do that." At the amount of core stability that you need, he's like, we don't want to risk your waist growing.
Yeah.
And so stuff like that, like I won't do heavy like RDLs anymore.
What about rows? Do you
Uh,
do? I know Justin has me doing dumbbell rows. I don't really love dumbbell rows, but that was always something I felt like could give a waist a little
I
bit bigger.
I don't do like barbell or dumbbell rows, but I'll
Oh, yeah.
do T-bar rows.
Yeah, yeah. Those
If,
supported. Yeah.
yeah, if I can do chest supported mostly. Um, but yeah, other than that, I'm usually on machines that have chest supported stuff. Whereas ISO row, high row, like
Yeah.
steel row, whatever the fuck kind of row, if it's chest supported, I don't even need to worry about the core. And then even squats, that's the only thing I can't really get away from. Like Smith squats, at first I was going heavy, and then I was like, "Damn, Joe, like, what are you doing? Like, you need to focus on other things." Like, so I'll do more like I guess you can say like focused like squats. So I'll do more of a sissy squat or whatever to try to hit my sweeps because that's really what I need. On the hack squat, I'll try not to go as heavy anymore and just focus on the sweep. Same with leg press. If I go heavy, the range of motion is going to be limited. I'm not going to bring it down to where my knees are going
Yeah.
past my stomach, because again, so much core. But you can train within like certain confines to where you keep it specific to an area. If you're good at this and
Oh
you're
yeah.
good at mind muscle connection, understanding how to actually move a load with the muscle you're trying to target, you don't need to do all the crazy heavy shit. You just need to lift with precision.
Or the
And
crazy range of
so
motion shit.
yes, exactly. So crazy range of motion, you're going to get everything, right? But if you're trying to target specific pieces, you don't need to do
Yeah.
that. I mean, this has just been tried and true for me on certain movements and stuff. And you get to a pro level for a reason because you understand that, you know how to do that. But it's just kind of a hard dynamic to get past when your whole like the last 4 years have been dedicated to get as big as fucking possible. So I find myself having to pull back quite a bit.
So you put on almost 100, you put on 100 pounds, right? In like what, 4 years? A little over 4 years, is that right?
Yes, since the end of 2020. So November of 2020, I was 187. Today, I stepped on the scale. I was 292.
Jeez.
So
And you're pretty lean right now,
yeah,
yeah.
I'm doing all right.
Yeah. And so once you introduced like growth hormone, and I mean, I'm assuming you guys did some insulin. I know I like insulin. Justin's had some insulin protocols. Did that make you jump up like even more, or
That's what helped me in my rebound. So okay,
yeah?
so the first time I ever jumped on growth hormone was 10 weeks out for the California.
Okay, that's
That's the first
interesting.
time I ever, yeah. And then after that, I stayed on it for like a year.
You ran it through?
Yeah, I ran it. But with the way I'm coached, it's high dose, or you're the same, high
Yeah,
dose on blast, on TRT, very, very low, just
yeah,
to keep it
yeah.
in the system. And so, but there was a time where for like a good 5 months, I want to say, no, 4 or 5 months, I couldn't, I couldn't get any. So I came off completely. So around when I was 300 pounds, that cycle I ran, that was that whole cycle I had no growth on me. That was just me getting 300 pounds through food. And I did take insulin then. So yes, growth and insulin I have found in synchronicity are incredible.
Right. So are you
So
timing? Are you timing your growth shot with your insulin, or you just shoot it like in the morning, take insulin,
no,
peri and post workout, like the Humalog?
so what I'll do is I'm not on any insulin. I haven't been on insulin since 23. Um, so this whole off season and stuff, I haven't been on anything like that. But growth hormone, I'll take at night, the whole dose at night, and then that's not what he's told me to do. He's actually stopped being specific with it. He used to tell me morning and then
Yeah.
before my last meal. Um, but as time's gone on, he stopped telling me that, and I just kind of took it upon myself to do it all at night, just because I'm not on prep and it helps me sleep better.
Yeah.
So I'll do that. And then when I was doing the insulin, it was the Humalog.
Yeah.
So he likes that one better,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
best. So he had his protocols for that.
You did it pre and post?
Yes, pre and
Yeah, yeah.
post.
Yeah, it's like I've played with it like a lot in the past, and like when you like get it perfect, it's like such a good feeling, as far as like the pump. But I've
What,
definitely fucked it up. I'm really sensitive. Like I got to do like two or three pre, otherwise I go hypo.
yeah, man, it's crazy. Like I've it's only happened to me like 2 or 3 times where I mean I did everything right. I just took too long to eat
Yeah,
the post meal. So I didn't know it was going to affect me. So I would do the pre meal, then I would do the intra carbs, and then I would do the post meal. But then it was the post meal that if I waited too long for that one, I was like, what the fuck? But back then,
cold sweat.
when I was doing that when I was doing the insulin, I usually had like because I was trying to get 300 pounds, so I would have 7-Eleven cookies on the side. So if I always had them on hand, so I would shove down like two of those, I would be like instantly fine, like instantly. But yeah, that only happened to me like 3 times.
And so, did you ever do anything for like fat loss? You just did like the cleanse. Did you ever do like injectable L-carnitine, anything else like that? That's always something I'm curious
No,
about
just
about the just
yeah, just
cleanse. You
cleanse
never did
and
the ephedra? I kind of
no.
like the ephedra. I did ephedra last time versus cleanse, and it was a little less like jittery for me.
Yeah, yeah. I just honestly like remember. So I went from Natty to enhanced, and I don't know if that's what Justin's had you do, but I've just done whatever Justin tells me to do.
It's hard to get.
So
Yeah, I'm sure he would be fine with it.
yeah,
It's just hard to get. Yeah.
yeah,
So you did so you turned pro at the USA's. Was that your first national?
yeah.
Okay. Because I remember I was talking to Baidi, and he thinks he could have turned pro the year before after the Cal, maybe not won the
Oh, so
overall.
so that was the thing. I remember I won the California, and Justin wanted me to do the USA's, and it
Was
was
that
9 weeks
Stu?
later.
Was that when Stu won?
Still won.
Okay. But he's a super,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, he was a super. So Stu would have beat me for sure. But I do think I would have turned pro
Yeah.
based on what I saw. And Justin told me that he's like he gave me a personal message. He said, "Look, I don't normally do this, but this is what I see. But I completely understand if you don't want to do it. Like I've been there, this is and that." And I was like, honestly, because I've talked about it on other podcasts. The California show that I prepped for, that was my first show enhanced. I went through a huge thing in my life during that. I had to go back to work at a job that I didn't want to go back to. All this while doing the prep, and that fucking damn near broke me. I almost fucking just gave up.
You weren't
And
training anymore?
no, I wasn't. Yeah, I wasn't personal training anymore. I had to go back to work,
What were you doing?
and it was. I worked at a company called Cintas, and they
Oh
do
yeah.
uniform delivery.
Yeah, yeah.
It was heavy labor, bro, and
Oh fuck.
they gave me my prestigious route back because I originally left, and they gave it back to me pretty much. And but there was new stuff to come with it, big projects I had to work on. And again, I never experienced this level of body fat, and so like it was the hardest prep I've done by far. And so with all that going down, I remember telling Justin, honestly, Justin, like as much as I'd love to, like I mentally can't. Like I just could not do it. My heart was set on doing the show, winning the show, and trying to get as big as I can for the next one. But as far as pushing this level of leanness any farther, I can't. I just I would. I'm not capable of it.
Yeah, it would have been
But I
another couple
told,
months.
yeah. So I told him, and I was still working at that damn job too, and it wasn't getting easier. So I did tell him though, I was like, but you know what? Like I truly believe that um give me this next. So first I said, do you think I will win? He said, I think you have a very high chance of getting your pro card as a heavyweight. As far as winning the whole show, that I'm not too positive. And then I said, okay, well, with that said, I thank you for telling me that. And but I want to win the show. And I said, I truly believe if I give myself another off season and take it as serious as I did this prep, because I didn't take bodybuilding that serious yet. It's after I won the California I did. And I said I truly believe I can win USA's if I was given one more off season. And so he went with it. And then obviously the rest is history. And I remember Beatty telling me, dude, like, I can't believe you're not going to do USA's. Like, you look incredible. Like, he said, like, you'll win your pro card. And I was like, I want to win it at a high level. I want to win the show. And I
Now,
was like,
Mr.
I just
USA
want
is a
to win
fucking
the
awesome
show.
title, man. Like,
That's why I wanted the USA's. I
yeah,
wanted that title. I wanted that specific title.
yeah,
And yeah, in hindsight, now Beatty was like, fuck, Joe. Like, you're right. Like,
yeah.
I believe. But again, talking about speaking something into existence, from the day I left the California stage, I believed I could. I just needed to do the work. And I think Justin was worried because he said, I guess he told Paul once that when I achieved on the California stage, a lot of people are one and dones. So like
Yeah.
they'll win something like that, but then they'll never get back to it. Like life happens, this is that. But I was like, Justin doesn't know me yet, Paul. Keep in mind, Justin just met me, right?
Yeah.
So here we are.
What
So
made you reach out to Justin initially?
Paul,
Yeah.
I so so the reason why California was so hard was because I just split up from a 12-year relationship with my ex
Shit.
fiance, and I was not in the best place. So even bodybuilding started going downhill, and I just hence why I stayed the same weight. I wasn't all in anymore. I was just kind of being a half-ass bodybuilder. So, but luckily I had the genetics to do what I did when I was like in it. And Paul was watching me kind of like be stagnant and a little bit start to deteriorate. And he didn't want to see me go down like that. And he said, I wasn't working with anybody, not even KC anymore at that point. And then Paul was like, you know, Joe, like you need to compete. And I was like, nah, man. I was like, I'm not big enough, I'm not ready to compete. Like I don't have the physique I want to compete. And he kept telling me, Joe, you're ready. And then he was like, what's holding you back? Is it finances? Keep in mind, I didn't go back to work yet. I was struggling. And I was like, honestly, yeah, that's a big reason. And he said, so if I hooked you up with my coach and I paid for your first couple months, would you compete? And I was like, you know what, dude? Like, if you really think that highly of me, like you believe in me like that, I'll fucking compete. I'll do that for
Was he
you.
already pro at the time, or he hadn't turned pro yet?
Paul wasn't a pro yet.
Okay. But
Yeah.
that's just to get that kind of confidence from somebody who, has an eye and is a bodybuilder and is your buddy. Like that's, they're not going to lead you the wrong
Yeah.
way.
I was just like, I couldn't believe he believed in me that much. So I was like, dude, if you're willing to put money towards me, then I'll do it. And I won't half-ass it either. Like if you're willing to do that, I'm not gonna be a piece of shit like that. I'll
Yeah.
give it my all. And I did. That's why it was so hard because I gave it my all. And yeah, again, my all ended up winning.
Were,
So
were you were you a fan of Justin before? Did you know like his career and stuff?
I didn't even know who Justin was.
That's because I grew up with him. I remember like when
That's
I
what
did my
everybody tells me. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I
But
remember I
remember,
remember
I
him
didn't want to
from
be a bodybuilder. I didn't
yeah
care to be a bodybuilder. So I
yeah.
didn't really follow anything like that
That's
until
funny.
yeah, until after I turned 23 and all that went down, then I started really getting into working out. And then bodybuilding just happened to teach everything that you need to build your body. you
Yeah.
know, uh, so you start learning about names and stuff. And Justin's name never came up in the things that I would look up. But once Paul told me Justin, and this is now, I looked into him obviously, and oh shit, okay, cool. This is
Yeah, one of the
yeah,
best white bodybuilders of all time.
yeah, yeah,
Puts you about the top 20. One of the best white.
yeah.
So you did a pro show last year, right? Am I wrong? Didn't you competed, right?
No, I did. I competed at the Cal.
At the Cal. Okay, so you won the Cal as
Top
an
Pro.
amateur. And is that one of your
I
goals is
wanted
to
to
get
bring it
that
to
show?
pro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just it's just not my time yet.
So
So
what did you place?
15th.
So you placed, so that's a pretty big show if I remember. There was like a lot of
It
competitors,
was
right?
huge. Yeah, it was a huge lineup. It
And that
ended
was
up
that
being
was a
really
good lineup. That was where Stu got fourth, right? Was that Tonio that one?
yeah, Tonio won.
Okay, and then I remember Wolski was in there. There was a good lineup.
I remember someone telling me and Paul like, damn, dude, like you guys have some balls to be up there.
Oh, Paul
Because
competed too.
that's
I didn't realize. How did Paul do?
yeah, he didn't place.
Okay,
I don't know,
so
like so like it's like
it's
16.
16. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, were you happy with the package you brought? I haven't looked at pictures. I don't remember. I mean, actually, you know what? I'm assuming. I think I do a little bit. Were you're conditioned, but were you just not like your normal crazy condition, or what was
Yeah,
the?
I wasn't crazy conditioned because so okay, Justin wanted to bring me in more full, and the reason being was because we put on so much muscle tissue that he didn't want me to sacrifice any of it.
Mm,
And to bring in that conditioning, I was going to sacrifice some of it. And he felt as though I just put on this pro level size. Or he'd rather me hold that size into the next time, my next showing, and just let that muscle mature, which is hence why this whole off season was not about me getting bigger anymore. It was about allowing that muscle to really sit, not worry about losing any of it, and coming in as peeled as possible for my next showing. So
yeah, I think
I
it's gonna
definitely
pay
want,
off.
yeah. Um, again, we've had to hold me back because all my body wants to do is grow, and it has. Like in the rebound itself, I put on a good amount of tissue. I could see it. I'm like, holy shit, and so could Justin. So I'm right where we need to be. I'm actually so the weight I just told you. So once I check in tomorrow, he's probably going to start pulling back or at least holding me here
Yeah.
because again, my body just wants to grow, and so this is the only off-season push I'm doing. I've got like I think 7 weeks left. and I'll be coming off and then getting ready for the next prep. But yeah, this is pretty much the biggest you're going to see me get right here,
Yeah.
or any of the upper scene. So
And whenever you were gaining weight, you told me you were eating like 8,000 calories like at your peak. Was that right?
to get to 300 pounds, yeah, right now,
Yeah. What are you doing
my
now? Like
calories 6,500.
65. Yeah. So, and that's just where you keep. And you said you didn't have much digestion problems, right? Was there anything you had to do to help get that much food down?
No, so it's funny because I actually just got my appetite back. Like I don't know if it's that sympathy sickness shit. I wouldn't get sick, but I would get kind of nauseous eating. And I didn't know what the fuck it was, but the Ashley's over here going through with the pregnancy, and I'm like, damn, is that like affecting me? Because I never had that
You're
issue
too
before.
connected. I know. I
Yeah,
haven't. I wasn't as close with mine, I guess.
yeah, no. I was like, because I read about it and shit. I'm just like, is this fucking real? I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I remember telling Justin, like, dude, I'm having a hard time. So he had to pull back my food a little bit, and then we finally got it back up, and now my weight's climbing like it always does. But for a while, it was cool because it's kept me leaner, like in the long run, like because again, my body likes to put on fast. So like I stayed within between 280 and like 285 for fucking like 4 weeks for a while. So whatever weight that is the most solidified that's gonna get. So this extra few pounds I'm getting, I'm sure he's gonna hold me here for the remainder of the time. I don't think he's gonna push me any farther, but Justin's a man of mystery, so we'll see.
So what is your goal for the season? Like what do you have in mind?
I mean, I wanna like everyone wants to win go to the O. So obviously I want to go to the O, but if I can at least place top five this time, it one of the show, the Tampa Pro is a pretty big show.
Yeah.
So if I can place top five at Tampa, that's fucking incredible. And then the next week I'm supposed to do Texas, and that'll be my
So
season.
that'll be Andrew,
So
right?
those two,
Usually he pops up
yeah.
there.
See, so if he does that right, so man, if I could just so much as place top five and stand next to these big names, my name will be big just
Yeah,
because now I'm in the running.
dude, I think you're going to make a big impact this year. I don't think you're on anybody's radar right now. I mean, even though you're a USA winner, but I feel like a lot of people don't know who you are. But I think what you guys did for the Cal, I think that's going to pay really big dividends because you look fucking wild, man. I'm around a lot of pros, and like
Thank you, man. Thank you.
you really don't have much weaknesses either, and you got a great back. I mean, a lot of times people is like wide as you and thick, like they don't have the details in the back. I feel like you got really good detail. You were saying your quads? Is that kind of the main thing you're working on?
Yeah, just the sweeps of my quads, and that's it's just my legs. Like I'm all adductor, all teardrop. So when I pose, right, I'll flare my feet out a little bit. But if I could just add a little bit more tissue to the outside or the outer sweep, come in more conditioned, my waist will look even better, and then just my look overall will be pristine. At least a minimum top five in my eyes
Yeah,
from what I see.
that's a pretty realistic
So
goal. So you plan on doing two shows?
yes, just I'll get my face out there a little farther to California too.
Yeah.
Like I've never traveled for a competition outside of Las Vegas when I won the USA's, and so but just putting myself all the way on the east side of things and stuff, and even in the mid in the middle of Texas, I think it'll just be cool to be in front of different people.
Yeah. What have you been doing for cardio in the off
Uh,
season?
uh, 3 times a week, 25 minutes of incline treadmill.
Will that
My
change much
I,
with your prep?
no, I've always kept it the same. Oh well, the duration of time, yes, but as far as the equipment that I use, no. I the only time I actually ever did stairs was USA's and Cal 22, but I was lighter, so my
People say
knees
it.
don't.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
You have
my
issues.
knees will just it. Okay, I do and I don't. It depends on how dumb I am with heavy ass training back to
Right.
back. If I, yeah, man, when my ego gets in the way and I just said, fuck it, I'm gonna fucking do a 6 plate squat. Yeah, I always pay for it. It's always so worth it though. And
I
then,
mean, that's the fun part. I get it.
yeah, man. I mean, that's why we started all this. I love training. I always love training. I mean, fuck. In football, my favorite part was the weightlifting part, which
Yeah.
is hence
Me
here we are, right?
too. Yeah.
It was the closest thing to football I had left after I stopped playing, and that just turned into I'm a competitive guy. So even though I didn't want to be a bodybuilder, I literally competed with like just the people around me without them knowing I was competing against them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
even when I started training with Paul, I always competed with Paul. Like, if he put someone on the bar, I always tried to beat him. And then even size wise, like I remember telling Paul in 2022, um, "Hey Paul, I was like, in the next 3 years, or no, it was 21. I said, in 3 years, I'll be your size. Give me 3 years. And here we are."
I mean, you're bigger than Paul now, right?
That's what people tell me. So I was like, "Yeah, Paul, they're telling me."
I mean, I don't think yeah, you're lacking in size pretty much at all. Like maybe you just want to put on a couple spots, but when you look at all the top pros, you're not gonna look small next to anybody.
No, I that's why. And so my mind's had to shift too, right? Just like I said, even my style of training, like it's not about just putting on a bunch of mass anymore. It's just that's all I'm accustomed to. So it's been a mind fuck for me this whole off season. And I told Paul too, it's a little like stop. I don't want to say it's boring because I still enjoy training, but it just doesn't. You just don't have that animal inside you to come in and fuck shit up. Like I don't know, like it's different. It's more precision stuff, more like it's less Branch Warren esque and more Nick Walker now. Like,
Right.
like training. So it's different.
So you didn't watch a lot of bodybuilding coming up. Is there anybody now who you're like a big fan of?
So you're always gonna know who the like I know everybody now, right? But I still saw like Jay, I knew Ronnie, I knew Branch, I knew Kai, I even knew Phil Heath because that's around the time I really started paying attention to things. Um, but oh, Dorian Yates, just know learning about him. He's actually like my favorite. As far as modern, Hunter is actually probably my most favorite modern bodybuilder. Um,
What about
I
him?
just like I I like his approach to things. He's a little sciencey, but um, there is some form of science behind how I train too. Like not necessarily science, but just strategy. I've always been a blueprint bodybuilder. Like, so here's my blueprint, and I'm going to train within this blueprint. So how I bring things up, like, so when people ask me like training questions, I have an answer for you about everything. And uh, Hunter's a lot like that. But the proof's in the pudding too. He's very strategic in how he trains, but he also trains really hard. And I've always admired that about him.
Have you met him?
I actually did. I officially met him when I went to Texas to watch the Texas Pro this last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, take a picture with him and stuff. It was cool because we I was even training at a gym where I was training arms, and he came up to me and talked to me a little bit because he remembered me from the
Yeah.
show and stuff, and he even follows me now and stuff. He's a really cool guy, really nice
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah, I feel like you're gonna blow up after this season. You're like a 20K right now. You know, you start placing good and people just see the kind of freak you are. That'll double at least for sure. But
Yeah, I'm
but
hoping.
and
Yeah, no, I
so
just again, just again, like that's the motive, right? Like I have the baby, I have that. Like I've always just been told, like Joe, if you just keep going, you can be up here, right? So I've always held on to that. Even Justin. So it's just like he's told me these things. So just keep doing what you're doing, and you're eventually gonna get there. Just keep going. Even Ashley, Joe, keep going. My mom, Joe, keep going. So here we are.
do you have like an ultimate goal in bodybuilding?
Yeah, I mean, I want to at least like minimum place top five in the world. That's what I can see.
Yeah.
When I am as realistic as possible to myself. Like there's some people you just can't beat, but I believe I can beat enough till I'm where I'm top five. If
I
I
do
can do
too.
that in my lifetime, like
Yeah.
whether it takes 3 years, 10 years, I think I can do it at least one time in my fucking career.
I mean, I think it's yeah. I mean, you're only 31, you said, right? So it's like, yeah,
Yeah,
and you're pretty fresh in terms of like bodybuilding years. You know, you've only been on gear what 4 or 5 years now? How,
yeah, it'll be. Well, I started right before 21, like 2 months before
oh Jesus, so like 4
2021.
years? Yeah,
Yeah,
so you're real fresh. Yeah, I mean, I think you're gonna make a couple more pretty big jumps before you start to like slow down a little bit.
Yeah. No, I've always said like I imagine what I'd look like when I'm 35,
Yeah.
where you've had those like maturing years where now the all the cycles you've done, the muscles, like the maturity within it, like it really sets into where you're getting to your actual peak. Because I'm not there yet. I'm still fresh, like you said. And it's exciting because I've done the to me the hardest part was putting the size on. So
Yeah.
now it's
Yeah.
just now
Been trying
it's
for 30 years, man. It's just hard.
yeah, just being smart about my training now, and as long as I can stay smart and just keep doing things, I see myself at that's that level. Just gotta wait, be patient.
Yeah, I think so. I think so for sure. Are you gonna go to the Arnold this year?
I've been asked this question like 3 times now, and I I
Girls gonna
talked
be
to
pretty
Paul about
pregnant.
it. Yeah, I know, man. So that's why I was like, Paul, like I want to go, but I'm like, she's gonna be here. And then I'm like, she's not going to come with me, So there's that. And then just finances, like, I want to make sure that because I'm going to be competing for 2 shows, and that's not going to be cheap. So I'm trying to save money, buy this little motherfucker diapers and shit, So it's
Yeah.
like, it's definitely up there in the air, but I got to see where I'm at within the next like month, or next few weeks. And then, yeah, we'll make our decision soon.
So what are your thoughts about the show? Well, let's give me like your top five. What do you see happening?
It's going to be Samson,
Yeah.
Derek, Uh, I uh Carlos, I think he has the potential of being top four.
I do too.
What's the lineup? Who else is doing it?
Well, you got Andrew, and then you got a
Oh yeah, so that was the guy. I was like, okay,
yeah.
so after Derek, Andrew, then Carlos,
Okay.
and then
Then we got like Bonac,
pretty much
Akeem, James, Curry.
it'll be Curry.
You think so? Because
Yeah,
Bonac beat him at the Olympia, and Bonac's
I
been
just
back on. Like he was not even, he was still getting back into it. So if he's like been pushing since the Olympia, I think he might be past Brandon now. And then people, I mean, a lot of people putting a lot of faith in James. I mean, I really like Boss. I think Boss does pretty great shit.
I love James. I just think genetically he's not going to be able to pass up those guys. Like even Brandon. Like I just think Brandon's too good. His structure and stuff, the way his poses look. Like James is a big guy, but he's a big guy with like a
Narrow.
more narrow body.
Yeah, yeah,
So just posing against someone like Brandon, like it's going to be hard to beat someone like that.
yeah. I
And
mean,
then
the only thing.
Bodak is short and his X frame's incredible. Like so. And then his detail is crazy when he's on. So it's going to be
Oh,
too
and
hard to.
Sean Clarita too. Can't forget Sean. Yeah,
Oh, Sean.
yeah.
See, I don't see James beating Sean. I
You what
don't.
about
I
what
know.
about Curry? You think Sean could take the fifth over Curry?
No, I still think that because of Curry's width and stuff, I still think he's gonna outdo Sean.
I think I'm with you. I really want to put Andrew in too, just because he looks so good in the early shows. But I gotta imagine Derek's coming with a like trying to redeem himself from the Olympia.
Yeah, I don't see there any possible chance of Andrew beating Derek.
No, what do you don't? Well, what if you see like the Texas Andrew versus the Olympia Derek? Who would win that? Because I'd probably give that to Andrew.
Shit, that I mean, shit. That's
Yeah, so I mean, I wouldn't say it's impossible. I do think Derek's got it, but Andrew was off at the Olympia, and he looks good. And then remember that one year he was shredded. If he comes in shredded with the new tissue, that's dangerous. I mean,
because his Texas look. I was there.
yeah,
I
that was
saw it.
wild.
It's hard to believe someone could beat that. So it's just like
That's what I'm saying. He brings
I
that once a
guess
year.
I just honestly think like Andrew, when you're going next to Derek, like Derek's just too good at posing too, and
Yeah,
Andrew sucks at posing.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
I mean, I just think there's too many factors in Derek's favor for him to top that. I
yeah,
just really do. And then like Derek is competitive, man.
yeah, yeah.
So I don't see him getting worse than the Olympia.
I don't
I mean, I don't
either.
I don't see him even like matching the Olympia. I see it. He has to come in better. Like
Yeah,
I just think that's just him. He will come in better. There's no doubt in my mind he's going to be better than the Olympia.
yeah. I really want to see Andrew, but I would if I was a betting man, I'd put it on Derek, and then I think
That's what I'm
Carlos could
saying.
take fourth. I just want his. So you're tight with Carlos, right? You guys know each other pretty well.
Yeah, we literally just did the podcast together
Okay.
today.
So I have him coming on with Sergio on Friday. I was showing Sergio you. He didn't know who you were. He's not very tuned into bodybuilding though. And he was like, "Oh
Yeah,
fuck,
yeah.
this guy's a fucking freak." So yeah, I'll talk to him
Uh,
about it. But is everything like going well with his stomach and everything? Because I know that's usually the issue.
yeah, yeah. He literally just talked about it on the podcast today that
Okay.
this is the best he's ever felt, especially being 8 weeks out. And like he just he's got a really good mind frame right now. Like he talked about some therapy style stuff, like literal therapy, like stuff that he's like I guess put in front of other things to where he's good mentally now. And so his body's responding. We literally just talked about how stress is a way bigger factor than I think people
Yeah.
make it out to be. Fuck, dude.
Especially for some people, because some people that just throws their digestion. Some people don't get stressed and it doesn't
That's
affect them that
why.
way. Yeah.
Yeah, it's huge on digestion, and that's one of his biggest things, right? So like for him to talk about how he's just in a better place mentally, digestion was automatically just going to get better. And then he deals with colitis, right? So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah. The
not fun
UC.
because,
Okay.
but again, stress, man, stress can trigger all this. I think stress even causes cancer cells to develop,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
that's like a real thing. So it just goes to show, man, when you're again mind, body, soul. What did I tell you? When
Right.
you can have those three aligned, you're gonna be fucking solid, man. Like shit. So
Man. Yeah, I'm really excited. And then I think I'm going to put Bonnick in fifth. I'm going to put Carlos and then Bonnick, but I think Curry and Sean have really good chances. And James, like I said, I really like Boss. Boss is doing really great shit. And I love Justin. I'm with Justin. I plan on staying with Justin for quite a while. But say you had to pick another coach, like who would you plan on? Who would you want to go to if you had to?
fuck, man. Oh, that's a good question. And it's funny because I actually have said this before where I will be Justin's client until he decides to give it up. So, um, but shit. I think, it's
Yeah.
funny, before all the shit went down, I actually wanted Matt to be my client.
Yeah.
I mean my coach.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, you know what? Like they say the universe protects you.
Right.
I was like,
Right.
but, but I guess I would go with Stefan just because of what based on his track record and all the people that talk so highly of him, even Martin, because
Yeah.
Martin went from like a good bodybuilder to an extremely great bodybuilder. And it just listen to the guy talk, he seems very fucking chill but blunt. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest, Justin's a lot like that.
Yeah, he is.
So so I mean, I could just see me meshing pretty well with him.
Yeah.
Um so it'd probably be Stefan.
And also, it's like I don't know if Stefan's thing is. I'm sure he's great at it, but I don't know if he's like the put on huge amounts of size kind of guy. You've already done that, so now it's just refining
Yeah,
and peaking.
yeah, he's definitely one of those people that I think it's like if you have it, he'll just clean it up, kind of thing. That's kind
Yeah,
of what I'm watching him do. I don't really know him that well to see who he's like brought up.
yeah,
Like for example, Justin with me. Like Justin took me from here, and now I'm here, and now Justin's gonna show me what he can do as far as Stefan, where Stefan's at, right?
yeah,
So like where Justin cleans up this this version of me now. So it's just yeah, it's hard for me because I've seen other coaches like even like I don't think he coaches pros anymore, but like Cement Factory,
yeah, yeah.
um,
AJ.
like his shit just looks too complicated. Like that, like I'm very simple. Like the more simple you can make something for me, the more likely I am to listen. So like
Yeah.
if you start like telling me that you need to take every pill with this meal and you need to fucking do this by 6 o'clock tonight or all this, you're gonna lose me. I'm gonna be the worst client ever.
Sounds like
I
Patrick Tor
just
style.
see another one, Patrick Tour. I just can't, man. Like if you tell me to measure my fucking salt and stuff, I'm probably not gonna listen.
I get it. I'm the same way. I couldn't do that. So, what else are you working on, man? What are some of your revenue streams? What are you trying to do in the future and working on right now?
So starting this year, I haven't put anybody on stage. I plan on putting people on stage now. Um, and I was gonna wait till after this show, but I was like, you know what, I can do it now. So I'll just whoever
Yeah.
wants to work with me
Well,
that
you
way.
can like, yeah, I mean, you can like handle, you can pick how much you want, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I won't put anybody on a national stage yet. Again, because I can get anybody in shape just like most personal trainers can. I can get you in even better shape than a lot of personal trainers, but it was always the peaking protocol that got me like, fuck, like
Yeah.
it's right there. So, because I've only done 4 shows
Fucking
myself.
wild. Jesus.
So, yeah. So I tell people like, as much as I've done in my career, the experience with this side of things and stuff, because most people are going to come to you enhanced. So it's like I've still like again, I can get anybody in shape. Shit, I can put you on a stage at a natural show if you want to do a natural because I pretty much did that by
Yeah.
myself. So I was like, but when it comes to the enhanced side of things, there's certain bodies that I haven't seen. Like most people aren't my size, but I've been a certain size, so I know what I've had to do. But I want to be ready to help somebody win, not just step on the stage.
Yeah.
That's why it's taken me a little bit of time. But I'm pretty damn confident now. Even there's been times where like just trying to prepare myself, right? So like I would tell Paul, "Hey Paul, I think Justin's gonna do this for you right now," and I'll be right like nine
Yeah.
out of 10 times. Same with me though. I'll be like, "I think he's gonna do this for me because this is what I would do if I was him,"
Yeah.
and I'd be right. It was just you have that safety blanket because you're not the one making the decision, like
Yeah,
Justin is,
exactly.
right? But I would play that game like, okay, if I was in this situation, would I be able to make the right call? And so that's helped a lot, especially having Paul, the training partner, and using him as my guinea pig. And then like Paul finally put someone on stage and she looked incredible. And he came to me for what I would think. And I made some good calls with that too. So I'm proud of myself with that. So it's just gotten me more what do you call it, like confident in the decision making towards the end of things.
That's
Because
a
that's vital, man.
that's a really cool way to look at it because most people just want to rush it. They were like, I'll put you on stage right away and just do it as fast as I can, get my name out there. You really like want to take your time and do it right.
Well, just because when I came into this, the reason I went to somebody about the gear and stuff is because I wanted to be put on the right path, right, the right track. And I would have hated this if I was put under somebody that didn't know what they were doing, wasted my time, wasted my energy, put me through hell for what? You know?
Right.
At least I can confidently say, hey, you know what? I knew enough and did my best where you brought your best. So that's it's just I wouldn't be able to do that in good conscience if I didn't know what the fuck I was
Yeah.
doing.
So is that
Because
your main
anybody can
thing?
get in shape. It's easy to get in shape.
Oh,
It's not
yeah.
it's not easy to peak anybody.
Yeah.
So that's where the it comes in. But other than that, obviously in-person clients, I love taking in-person clients just because I get to do like when you have online clients, it sucks because just like I talked about in the beginning, Justin's huge on not training like a pussy. Well, you'd be surprised at how many people train like pussies and expect to look like you.
Yeah.
So it's like, fuck, man. Like, so when I get them in front of me, I actually have a chance of changing this person's life.
Right.
Like, because people don't understand, like, they don't know what it's supposed to feel like. And you,
Yeah.
you think just because you did that everybody does until you find out you do this enough, you're like, damn, man, like, these people have no fucking clue.
Yeah,
So,
you can see them on their IGs, or I used to make them shoot me the videos. They're like, I need to see like what we're actually putting out there, what kind of intensity we're using. Like, are you going to mechanical failure? Are you going to like shit looking
yeah,
failure? Like what's happening? Because
yeah, yeah.
some people let that go too quick. You know what I mean? Like you can stave off mechanical failure for a few reps, or you can kind of let it go like a little sooner than it needs to go. And so that's a skill set that you got to see in person.
Yeah, but you got to feel over time yourself. Like again, when you're personal training somebody, you're watching how they do something, and you know when they have more. You just
Yeah.
know just by their damn expression in their face, like how somebody looks at this movie. But yeah, outside of that, obviously I have my family coming, right? So I want to. So right now, because everything happened so fast, I'm moving in with Paul. So it'll be me, Paul, Ashley, and the baby. And then obviously I want to work towards getting our own place together. But we just did that as like okay, we don't feel stressed to
Yeah.
make so much happen at once. So thank God for Paul for that. And that way we can adjust slowly to everything. We don't have again not rushing all that stuff. So that's a huge goal of mine. And yeah, just like adjusting to being a dad. And
Man, I'm excited for you. It's gonna be cool.
yeah, it's gonna be cool to have the little guy around me,
Yeah,
man. Like
you have the name picked out?
we're thinking of it. She told me not to say it anymore to people.
Okay. Okay. No, don't worry. I got it.
I'll definitely let you know. But there's one name that really stuck out, and I think it's gonna end up staying.
Nice.
She so yeah, she literally she's like, "Have you told anybody?" I was like, "Yeah, I told this person, this person." She's like, she laughed. She's like, "Damn it, Jones," because she knows I'm excited. But
Yeah.
she was like, "Okay, don't tell anybody else though." She's like, I don't want anybody taking my name."
Right. Exactly. So it's a unique one.
Yes, it definitely is. It's definitely. I think I've heard it. Okay, so I know one person with this name, and she knows that she knew a young kid with this name.
Yeah.
So it's very, very few people that I've ever heard this name. If it's the one that sticks, but
Yeah. Cool.
yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We still have so much time, but we have like 4 months. She's
They
officially
don't.
21.
It's gonna feel like it's gonna fucking
Yeah.
come quick.
I mean, fuck, the first five flew,
All
bro.
right.
Damn.
All
Yeah,
right.
so
You gotta be ready. I mean, ready for that those hormones afterwards too.
damn, you know what? As fucked up as it sounds, like I'm like, man, like if I just look at it like it's a prep, okay, I can tell you
Yeah.
this.
That's all we know. That's how we break it down everything.
Dude, that's all I can like. Because again, you're an idiot or a fool to try to understand a woman side of things when it comes to this, because you'll never understand it. So if you can make it make sense to you in your own head, then that's all you need. You don't need to tell
Right.
anybody as long as
Right.
it makes sense to you.
Oh man. Man, you're looking fucking huge. What do you think you're gonna compete at? Any idea? I mean, you don't tend to lose that much weight.
Um, so well, I competed at 247 at the Cal, and I could have brought my conditioning probably down. Let's say as much as 7 pounds. I'm be extreme. Um, so say 240. If I can compete somewhere between 250 and 255, that would be incredible. But be
Yeah.
shredded. I'd be
Yeah.
even cool if I was only 3 pounds heavier than my last showing, but just peeled. That's incredible. Me and Justin always talked about how like based on how I look and stuff, and a lot of people compare my structure to Jay Cutler's.
Yeah.
He pretty much stepped on stage around 265, 270. I think the max heaviest. I think I will not want to be any bigger than 260.
Yeah.
Um, like I think after that, it's a point of no return, and it's just not going to be a good look anymore. So 260 is the biggest I'll ever try to be. Um, but I'm hoping for 250, 255 max.
This is gonna be a good look. I'm excited to see you, dude. This has been really fun, man. I didn't expect you to, I mean, I know you do a podcast, so you need to be a good talker, but I didn't expect you to have so much, you're a smart guy, You're just
Oh,
a
thank
fucking
you, bro.
giant.
Thank you, thank you. No, it's funny. I mean, I guess people assume that, right? Is the what is it?
Well, you talked about Nick, right? So it's like we see you're not like
Yeah,
that.
no, yeah, no. One of my friends growing up said I had the gift of gab. So whoever gets put in front of me, I don't have shit to say. It's just I need someone to respond to me, and I can keep it going. But that's why Beatty liked me for the podcast too, because
Yeah.
we'd sit down. Literally, the podcast started because me, him, and Paul would hang out after every workout and just talk, whether it was about bodybuilding, whether it was about life in general, or the mix of the two. So and just we would relate to everything. So it's a small community, really, when you think about it, bro.
Yeah.
Like the world is so small in this little iron world,
It
and we
really
all
is.
relate to everything.
Nice. Is
So,
there anything else you want to put out there at all before I let you go, man? I appreciate your time.
well,
Anything
with
you want
all
to
that
cover?
said, man, if anybody ever sees me or recognizes me, don't ever be afraid to come up to me and say hi, like just like you did in the gym. Like
Yeah.
I'm never too busy for anybody. Like my one of my biggest things is no matter how big I got, like not literally, but you know, like I started here just like everybody else, and like I never see myself up here. I see myself here. Just like I went to the gym just to try to put some muscle on and shit. I just so happen to want to compete, and I've become a pro and stuff. But yeah, I'm never too good to not talk to anybody. So always come up, say hello if you recognize me. I will always give you the time of day because I appreciate you going out of your way just to say what's up to me. So that's a huge thing. I've had people tell me, "Oh, I saw you, but I didn't want to bother you." Nah, man, it's cool. Like it's cool.
That's awesome.
But yeah,
Do you have anything you would like give advice for as far as like guys that maybe don't like have it as naturally as you, as far as like that drive, that determination, that kind of I can will it into existence. Do you have anything that you could recommend as far as like, I don't know, helping them get in that mindset?
I believe you only fail when you give up. So no matter what, it's only a matter of time. Now you obviously you have to do the work. Nothing's given to you. Not one time did I say, "Hey, this is going to happen," and I just waited for it to happen. No, it happens when you make it happen. But if you put it out there and you consistently tell yourself that it's going to, and you believe it, you truly believe it, then you will be willing to work towards it. Because if you don't see it, why would you even try to work for it? So if you can visualize it, you can see it, it's eventually going to happen. So just don't quit. It's that
Yeah.
simple. And do it for the right reasons. Like I only did this because I loved training and I'm just competitive in nature. So I wanted to be like, okay, I'm putting in all this work. Now let me just make it worth something. And it's inspiring other people just because I love to train. That's literally how it started. I love to work out. It was the closest thing I had to football, and it's doing all this for me now. So I mean shit, it got me my wife.
Right.
Or my fiance. I was like, I met her in the place that I love to be, and you when you're on the right path, doing what you love, everything's just gonna come to you. It's just how it's gonna be.
100%.
So
I'm right there with you, man. And this has been
yeah,
great. We should definitely do it again sometime. I appreciate it, Dan.
yeah, man, just let me know. I love doing these things. All
Awesome. Cool. Thank you so much, brother. I'll hit you up.
right, man. You have a good
All right.
night.
Have a good night, man. This is awesome.
All right, bye.